Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. An ancestral song kicked off a treaty workshop at the Lyric Theatre in Swift Current. Joseph Naytowhow is a traditional knowledge keeper and spoke to the crowd about the history of the First Nations people and the signing of treaties. 2017 has been a big year for shining the spotlight on arts and culture in conjunction with Canada's 150. The Art Gallery of Swift Current's latest installment is showcasing the work of Regina artist Cline. As you drive through the parking lot of the iPlex in Swift Current, you'll notice a new sign near the building's southeast corner. Butter Way was unveiled on Tuesday, honoring long-standing Broncos staff member Jamie LeBlanc. Thanks for joining us here today. Learning more about treaties and First Nations people was the focus of a special workshop in Swift Current. We have more in today's top story. An ancestral song kicked off a treaty workshop at the Lyric Theatre in Swift Current. Joseph Naytowhow is a traditional knowledge keeper and spoke to the crowd about the history of the First Nations people and the signing of treaties, specifically Treaty Number 4, signed in 1874 in Fort Qu'Appelle, which includes most of southern Saskatchewan, parts of Manitoba, and Alberta. An agreement signed many years ago promising money, provisions, and rights to reserve land for the First Nations people in exchange for giving up Indigenous territory to the federal government. A timely presentation as the topic of truth and reconciliation is in the spotlight across the country.
I think it's important that they understand and know who they are, and who they are is who I am. So if they don't come a place from that, they're going to be like ignorant for the rest of their life. They're not going to know. Their kids are not going to know. You know, it's like, so to me, for us, we pass on our oral histories and our stories and our songs, you know, and they need to pass on the tragedy that happened in this country, because it is tragic. It was not the beauty of who we are that they saw or heard initially. It was the tragedy that resulted from residential schools, you know, from the Indian Act, you know. It was all that. And otherwise, they don't come to peace. I've come to peace in my own life because now I know what happened, not through experiencing, but also understanding and making sense of it all, you know, why it happened. And I went through it, and I know that I can't hang on and remain a victim. I can't be angry and upset at the churches or the government or anybody that's different color than myself. So I know that for myself. I have to let go. Otherwise, I'll just die.
An event which drew many questions from the crowd, while building bridges towards a sense of community.
It's always important to get involved in something like this, just because we're in Swift Current. I'm used to this happening in Prince Albert and everything else where I grew up and whatnot, but it's kind of unique with this kind of dialogue, this kind of discussion happening in Swift Current, and I actually loved it. I love some of the questions that were coming here today and everything, and the engagement that everybody had.
Open discussion of cross-cultural relations, which local writer Stu Tash would like to see happen more frequently.
And so I can see this happen on a monthly basis. And, you know, Cindy was just talking, like she said, there's so many things that I don't understand. How does a person become an elder? How does a person, you know, all those basic things that we really don't have much idea about, and yet we should, and they're basic things. And we're just kind of lost on those. And so I think we have to keep this dialogue going.
The Treaty 4 workshop was organized by Stu and Cindy Tash in collaboration with the Living Sky Casino, Lyric Theatre, and Office of the Treaty Commission. A unique multimedia exhibit is now showing at the Art Gallery of Swift Current. We find out more in this report. 2017 has been a big year for shining the spotlight on arts and culture in conjunction with Canada's 150. The Art Gallery of Swift Current's latest installment is showcasing the work of Regina artist Cline. Quiet Stories from Canadian Places is a culmination of Cline's work over the past 10 years as she visited 7 communities across Canada, collecting stories from local residents. The exhibition consists of over 60 paintings intertwined with audio stories of the individuals she interviewed, creating a mixed medium for the senses.
The paintings are created with a combination of thicker, opaque paint that you can't see through, mixed with transparent layers. And they're really heavily layered. So sometimes there's 10, 20 layers of paint that allow the light to travel through and bounce back and shift how you're seeing the painting depending on what angle you're looking at the painting from. The audio is extracted from the interview and then heavily edited to make it a short enough soundbite that I hope gallery viewers will listen to the whole story. And then I also got to combine the different stories together in a way to kind of create a storyline or a story arc. There are audio stories that go with a particular painting. There are collections of audio stories that relate to a group of paintings. And then there are standalone audio works where you can walk underneath a motion detector and it starts playing an audio piece on a speaker that shares a collection of stories with you.
A unique exhibition which has captured the attention of gallery viewers, bringing some back on several occasions.
And what I see here is a variety of scenes which in many cases, you drive down the highway or you're walking out in the country, you would take these scenes for granted. And yet they are part of our Canadian story, our everyday life. This is what's happening at that moment in time, at that location in our country. And I think Heather's really captured some of these things that we take for granted. Fabulous exhibit.
And as Heather Cline's exhibition continues to attract visitors to the Art Gallery of Swift Current in the coming weeks, she hopes people will get a better appreciation for the arts and take the time to envelop themselves in the experience.
It's important for me to create an experience where people are engaged in active viewing. Often when people come to art galleries, they do what I call, it's almost like going for drive-through. They do a walk through the gallery and they're out the door. Part of this project was trying to think about how to slow down how people engage with artwork through that multiple experience of audio and visual.
Cline's work is also expanded to the classroom by engaging youth in the art world through one-on-one discussions with the artist to actual assignments in the classroom.
And kind of recognize the idea that Canadian voice isn't just one thing. And Canadian voice, as it appears in narratives and stories, isn't confined to just published authors. There's a chance for us as both learners, teachers, and writers to probably take more of our own lives and put it into our writing, and as well to consider how an artist like Heather Cline is able to bring across mediums or cross mediums for the sake of really conveying what Canada means to her and what it means to other people.
An outreach program, which the Art Gallery of Swift Current plans to expand on, not just for students, but the general population.
The art gallery, with their participating artists and others, are making materials that actually can stand alone and be used in an electronic form, and so people will now be able to go to our Gallery of Swift Current website, for example, and gain real content there. It's not instead of coming to the art gallery. I mean, seeing real art live is a very special experience. But in fact, there's lots to be experienced in the online environment, and so I think we're going to make more and more content.
Quiet Stories from Canadian Places is on exhibit at the Art Gallery of Swift Current through December 30th, before moving on to its next showing at the Dunlop Gallery in Regina. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. Butter Away was unveiled this week at the iPlex, honoring a special Swift Current Broncos staff member. As you drive through the parking lot of the iPlex in Swift Current, you'll notice a new sign near the building's southeast corner. Butter Way was unveiled on Tuesday, honoring long-standing Broncos staff member Jamie LeBlanc, also known as Butter. LeBlanc is into his 14th year as the head athletic trainer and equipment manager for the Broncos, and the team, along with the city, wanted to acknowledge him for his contributions. A humbling experience for LeBlanc.
Obviously, it's a big surprise. I wasn't expecting, obviously, anything like that. It is. No words can really describe it. I think it's. I don't know. It's unbelievable. But I'm very honored and humbled by the fact that something like that is out there with my name on it. I come to work and I just do what I have to do in my job, and that's what it is.
A recognition which the city of Swift Current was eager to be a part of, as the Broncos are a key organization in the overall social fabric of the community.
In this particular case, an unsung hero, somebody that goes above and beyond. He actually has quite a few jobs here at the iPlex, working with the Broncos, and hearing what Coach said as well. I know how thankful he is, and how thankful the team is, and I can truly say how thankful I am. This is an incredible season for our Broncos. It's been a great run so far, and it's only mid-November, so I know we've got more great things to come. This was a fitting tribute, and we were happy to definitely be a part of it.
Jamie Butter LeBlanc is originally from New Brunswick and started as trainer for the Swift Current Broncos in 2005. Then took a brief hiatus for a local business opportunity. He's also enjoyed various roles over the years at international competition, including the duty of equipment manager for Team Canada at the 2012 World U18 Championship in the Czech Republic. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.